Hey everybody, welcome back again, and today we're taking a look at another brand new figure, one that's just now hitting doorsteps, and it's the third in the series of X-Transbots Constructicons, and that's going to be their MX-44 Gravedigger, and that's going to be their version of a G1 Constructicon Scavenger. So was really looking forward to this figure. So far, the figures out of this X-Transbot series of Constructicons have been really nice, really good bot modes. And so they're really giving Fans Toys a run for their money. So this figure, like I said, has just come out. Actually just received it earlier today. And we're going to do an unboxing and kind of my first impressions and kind of do some comparisons with the recent Fans Toys release and see what we think about it. So no more delay. Let's get into it. And looking at the packaging, it's just like the other Constructicon releases that we've gotten from X-Transbots. So really not a huge departure there. And so we look at the front of the box. We've got the really cool artwork with the Scavenger render right there. On the side, we've got some more box artwork. On the bottom, we've got a shot of Long Haul. On the other side, we've got a quote, "Stop looking for happiness in the same place you lost it." That's always interesting what they do with their little quotes on the sides of their boxes. And then on the back, we've got his tech specs with this mural diagram. So, so far, a really nice looking box. As we also know, all these boxes are going to kind of be able to be stacked together to form a larger mural. So it'll be really cool to see that once it's fully complete. Alright, so in the box, it's packaged very similar to how Scrapper was. You've got the styrofoam clamshell that I imagine will have the bot in it, and then we've got this plastic clamshell that's got combiner parts in it. And then we have his collector card, so really nice collector card with his tech specs on the back. And we've got another trumpet. And then looks like an alternate head mount right there for him. The trumpet's nice looking. It's plastic. It's not as nice as the Fans Toys trumpet, but still a nice little addition to have with these figures. And then with the combiner parts and the accessories, so we've got an alternate head here, which is really nice looking. That red in the visor is pretty nice. We've got Devastator's gun, so you can see it, thing's pretty massive. And we've got Scavenger's gun. So again, pretty standard. Looks nearly identical to the Fans Toys. I don't think there's really a whole lot of variation that you can get with those. And then we've got what look to be some combiner parts. This is going to be the part that the arm mounts in and attaches, I guess, to Hook once he's available. And then we've got the lower arm of Devastator. So looking at this, let's take a look real quick at the articulation and the fingers. So very similar to the Fans Toys. although I will say not as nice. This plastic, I think maybe it is painted, but it doesn't feel as heavy duty as the fans toys did. There's obviously not as many metal parts in here, but looking at the fingers, they are all individually articulated. They can be splayed out. We've got articulation in each one of the knuckles. The wrist can go back and forth. We've got wrist rotation here. The thumb is on a pivot right here at the base of the palm. Interesting that, well, now the thumb does rotate, and we get articulation at the thumb joint there as well. So very nice looking, and I like what they've done here with the fingers. They've actually made them somewhat anatomically correct, with the middle finger being kind of the longest and the other fingers not being the same length. I always think that's really weird looking with these figures. When all the fingers are the same length, it just makes it look a little bit wonky. The rest of the arm, we get an elbow bend. Looks like we get a better than 90-degree elbow. We get a swivel here right above the elbow. So yeah, very nice looking. In my opinion, it's not quite as nice looking as the Fans Toys Right version of this combiner piece. But again, later in the video, we'll take a look at all that compared and kind of see them side by side and how they match up with each other. And then we've got the figure itself. So again, he's a really nice looking figure. This piece right here is metal, and it is polished very nicely. Now, the one thing about this that's weird to me is these initial release of the figures are always the cartoon deco, and then they come out later with the toy deco. This chrome piece right here to me seems like it would be more appropriate, I guess, for a toy deco, seeing as chrome doesn't necessarily come out as well as an animation. But I think it's really cool that they went that extra bit and chromed this up. So looking at him, it looks like this. It's difficult to tell if this plastic is painted or if it's that color plastic. I do believe it's painted, actually. And of course, that is kind of par for the course with the Toon decos for these X-Transbots figures. The Toon deco is always has a little bit more paint than the toy deco does. Looking at him from side to side, one thing you'll notice, he's not nearly as thick from front to back as the Fans Toys version of Scavenger was, so he's a little bit more proportionally, I guess, appropriate looking here. From the back, again, I mean, he's pretty faithful to the original. You know, he does have kind of this extra bend in the boom for the bucket scoop, which is kind of weird to me, but I wish there was a way to maybe kind of fold it up a little bit differently instead of having it hang down. But, you know, that is what it is. So let's take a look at the articulation in this figure. So with the head, we've got up, and he can go down a little bit. He can swivel all over. With the shoulders, we get all the way around on the shoulder. We do get a bicep swivel. The elbow, we get a much better than 90-degree bend right there. The hands, we get swivel in the hands, and then these fingers here are pretty much identical to the other X-Transbots Constructicon figures, or fingers. So you get the index finger is on its own pin, and then the remaining three fingers are on their own pin, and they articulate at that first knuckle there. So again, pretty standard. Waist swivel, we do get waist swivel. So we're a little bit hindered by the back plate here, but that is quite nice. And I don't think we get, oh no, we actually do. We get an ab crunch. So a pretty decent ab crunch there. We get out to the side on the legs with some hip skirts. When you move that up out of the way, you can get a little bit more. You get a rotation at the thigh. And then one thing I want to point out, and there was a video that came out on this just a few days ago actually, when you get yours in the box, you're going to want to make sure that on the back, so right out of the box, you don't get any knee bend right here. There's a panel right here at the back of each one of the knees that you need to fold down in order to get that knee joint to be able to bend. If you don't and you try to force this down, you're going to snap this piece off. So that was a really good PSA, and I right now the name of the user escapes me. But yeah, there's the plate right here, and you're going to want to just bend that all the way back, and then you can get a better than 90-degree bend at the knee. And then we do have some ankle tilt, and we've got some toe up and toe down. So the colors on this guy are really, really nice. Again, the legs look like they're painted as well. The feet are die cast. This piece right here is die cast. We've got metal parts here in the pistons on the boom for the bucket, which is really nice. And I have to say that this figure, proportionally, as I mentioned before, is, to me, I like it a lot better than the Fans Toys version. And let's bring the Fans Toys version in just to take a look and a quick comparison. So here we are, we're looking at Fans Toys right. So first of all, you can see how much bigger the figure is than the X-Transbots version. Now, obviously, that's because Fans Toys is including, you know, the whole bot here basically turns into the arm for Devastator, instead of having you know, these add-on pieces that we get, that we snap the actual Scavenger vehicle mode into. So the only add-on part we have here is just where the hand connects to the forearm. So that does inherently make this figure a lot bigger. But then also just looking at him from, let's get this gun snapped in so I don't lose it. Looking at him, you know, he's very back heavy, and you can tell the difference here. So the proportions on this guy, I think, are a lot better. They look a lot better, you know, when posed in bot form. And I've mentioned this before with the previous X-Transbots Constructicon releases, is that, you know, their bot modes are really killing it. I think they're much better scale-wise. With other Masterpiece scale figures, they look more appropriate in size to me. The Fans Toys, all of their combiner figures to me are just a little bit oversized. I mean, that's the same, you know, with their Stunticons, with their aerial bots, and then obviously with the Constructicons. You know, the limbs are a little bit oversized, I think, in their bot form. Again, I think he stacks up very well next to the Fans Toys release. And then let's take a look at him really quickly next to the Scrapper release. So you can see they're roughly the same size. They scale together much better. Just overall, they're really killing it with these bot modes. Fans Toys obviously is probably going to come out the winner in terms of the combined form of Devastator. But I just think that in the bot form, these X-Transbots figures have them beat. So yeah, there we go. He is a really good looking figure. I was really excited to get him, and I would definitely recommend him. I got mine from Agavus. They always seem to have these figures so much sooner in terms of availability as others. I was surprised at how quickly they had this, and I ordered it and had it in just a couple days. So I was very excited about that. But I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of transformation here off camera, and we'll kind of put some of these next to each other and give an idea of what they look like in their combined mode. So hang on for just a moment, and we'll see what they look when I get back. All right, so here we have MX-44 Gravedigger in his combined mode. It is pretty much a parts forming piece, so the bot turns into the alt mode, and you kind of do a little bit of fiddling with the tracks in order to slide the lower part of the arm onto the shoulder bracket, and then all of that slides up in between the tracks in alt mode. So it looks pretty good. It, again, does not look as good as the Fans Toys version. Let me bring both of these in just so you can see a look, or take a look-see. The Fans Toys version is a good bit bulkier. I actually think the Fans Toys version is more proportional in the combined mode than the X-Transbots version is in the combined mode. He is just a hair longer. Well, no, they're about the same length. So I was really surprised when I looked at the combiner parts and the forearm and everything right out of the box. I didn't think it was going to be as large as the Fan Toys version is, but it actually is, and it looks really good. It doesn't feel as solid in the combined mode as the Fans Toys version is, but putting that aside, let's take a look at the articulation again. So what we're going to have with the articulation, we're going to have some shoulder up. So we're not going to get a whole lot, if we're thinking about this being the edge of hook. And so we've got a T-slot where he's going to fasten into hook, so he doesn't fasten directly onto that metal chest plate like what we have with the Fans Toys version, where it's going to fasten in on that rail. We've got a little bit of articulation in the shoulder, can bring it up and out a little bit. There actually is no rotation on this joint here, so I imagine that rotation will be built into the hook figure when it comes out. We do get rotation at the bicep, and then we do get a better than a 90-degree bend at the elbow, and then I've already gone over the finger articulation. So all in all, I think it looks pretty good. You got to make sure that you get everything pegged together just right in this. So the transformation from bot mode to alt mode was a little bit more complex actually than the Fan Toys version is. There's a lot of twisting and turning, and panels folding out and back in and over themselves, and I may do a quick transformation video that I may post separately of this just to kind of illustrate how that is. I don't love the bucket and the boom. It just doesn't feel like you can get it in the right place for it to be kind of show accurate, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it is really good looking. Again, not as solid as the Fans Toys version, but still, I think X-Transbots has done a fantastic job with this. Really nice, and I can't wait to see what the rest of these start to look like and when they start to come together. So I know the next figure that is slated up for release in their lineup is going to be the Bone Crusher figure, which I would imagine will be very similar to this. Save for the top part of the alt mode, but I would fully expect that it'll just be a mirror of this combined mode transformation on that other side. So yeah, really looking forward to that. So all in all, I think this figure is definitely a highly recommend. It's got some really cool accessories with it. And it looks really good. I'm really pleased with it and really excited to see what they come out with next. So again, if you guys like this content, please like it and please subscribe to my channel. I'll keep doing this content, and I thank everybody for watching.